Hello guys, this is Anshvijay with another tutorial, and I'm going to be showing you how to render and get started in Cinema 4D and After Effects. So I'm going to go through a few things like depth of field, everything, importing your world, and if you like you can go in the description and skip ahead in the video if you already know how to do this. So first of all, let's go into the Minecraft world, and as you can see I have this world set up here, and I use this in my Gladiator animation. And yeah, I said thank you to the guy who made it, of course. And yeah, so let's select this bit. Oh, first of all, this is Mineways. To load the file, you go here and go into your home, library, application support, Minecraft, saves, and find the world and level that. And then select the area you want, and normally it'll ask you something and you normally click yes to that, which means it selects only the basically like the visible blocks, I guess. And then we click file, set terrain PNG, and then find your Mineways folder, and it should have some textures in there. And I'm going to select the default, and then file, export for render, and I'm going to pause it. Okay, so name your file here and let's make a new folder because it will create a few files, so we want to make a new folder. Now it'll give you all these options here. What I normally set it at is this. It makes the bottom hollow and whatever. Just mess around with all these settings. It's a little tricky to understand what they're trying to say here. So try and just mess around with the settings, and then set this to like 100 mm high, and click OK, and then it'll start rendering out. Exporting it. Then go into Cinema 4D and let's load in the OBJ file that they give us, and OBJ, and make sure this is at 1000 since we set that to 100 mm high, millimeters high or whatever, and load in the textures like so. Coliseum, so RGB, and then set this to none. It's pretty important. And then select everything. Alpha, load in RGB A, not the alpha. I don't know why they mislead you with that. And then we want to, if you see the textures are kind of messed up, so just go in the editor, default 512 MB, and yeah, it adds just a little bit of lag. It's not too much of a deal. And then if you want, you can right click and remove duplicated materials, and we get one material, and you can name it the material and then right click and plain black light just to make it nice. Okay, next thing you can do optional is right click, connect plus delete, and he makes it one object. And another thing you can do is, let's go into function F2 or F2 to go into top view and go to shading, and now we can say you want just a small bit of your model. So let's get into this. I'm slowing down. I need to go fast because I have a lot to cover here. Let's go into polygon mode and select the area you want like that, and then we want to right click and hit split, and then we can go back into front view, and we can see we have these things here. Just move it up here, and it creates all these new blocks here. What that is, if we hit delete, make sure your cursor is in the viewport when you hit delete. If your cursor is here, then if you hit delete, it deletes the main objects, not the polygon. So delete on the viewport, and then we can now, if we select the new ones that we created, it's basically the ones we split. And yeah, so we can always group these two and have and then say you want to animate just in this bit, and yeah, we have that bit. So yeah, pretty cool. So now I'm going to group this and name it Coliseum. This is what I do. You can always have a different method of setting up a scene. So add to new layer, right, and then lock the layer, and now we can't select anything on the screen, which is nice when you're animating characters, and it just doesn't annoy you with all that wireframe just like messing around. Okay, so now let's go to the render settings. So select that output, and I'm gonna set it at 1920 by well, 1080p, or you can have it at HD quality, which is also this. But I set it at this now. Oh, not that, yeah. Okay, save. Let's save it as RPF because that contains 3D data which we want. And then you can save it on the desktop like so. What RPF is? It contains 3D data, but remember that it contains a lot of memory, so it's like 2 MB each frame, something like that. And yeah, so what this is I'm trying to get it working, but I downloaded a plugin, it's still not working, and it's really annoying. So I don't know what to do with it. Anyway, there's a new method of using it. I'm going to go through it later. It's called Cineware. I'll do it later. So yeah, let's enable alpha channel just so that I can show you what it does. Then if no multipass, best. That's what I set it at. It basically smooths out the edges. Like right now in the viewport, it like edges are kind of weird looking. And now if I render, yeah, it's smoother sort of edges. And effects, ambient occlusion if you want. Make sure you click evaluate transparency, otherwise alpha channels are black. Like in my rig I have alpha channel for the outer head, so it'll be black if you don't enable that. Global illumination to low and everything to low. Depth of field will be done in After Effects, so don't worry about that. Glow 3 and 7. What else? Color correction will be done in After Effects. Lens effect, I'll show you how to do that. Object glow if you have glowing materials. And yeah, lens effect basically we'll be using that for the sun flares and stuff. So yeah, that's about it for my render. Pretty straightforward render. And then let's get to the position we want. So let's make a camera, select the camera, select that object. Let's just move this a bit and just position this somewhere. I was here, I think. Yeah, okay. Like so. Okay, so now let's make a. So we have a camera. Now let's make create a infinite light. So now we'll do lighting. So select the light, go to camera, set active object as camera or something. And let's position the light where we want it to be. So I want it to be in the camera's frame. Like so. Let's see if it's there. Yeah, it's there. So now let's go into default. So go into default is use default camera, which I already am, and select the light and detail. You can change that to a slightly orange tint, but we can always use color correction and change that. What else? We can add area shadows, which looks pretty cool, or you can add hard shadows. Soft shadows, I don't know, for some reason it doesn't work. Then we can always mess around with this. So now let's add the lens flare. So default, and we can always edit this like so. And okay, and increase that. And now let's have a render. Have a look at the render. Oh no, we need this guy first, and let's just move this up a little and rotate it down. Okay, let's add the sky. So now we need a gradient. So color, gradient. Select the gradient, and let's make it a slight lightish blue, and then we get it more dark blue, like so. Don't follow me. Just watch. Just have a look at some real skies, and then just get the slightly better sky, I guess. And let's just move this here. And okay, now grab it onto the sky, have a render. I mean, let's have a look at the render. And I'm gonna skip ahead. As you can see, it was a pretty fast render of 30 seconds. And we got that light here, which is kinda too reddish or something. I don't know. Anyway, it looks pretty good. We can do some more color correction. I used the physical sky, so I'm gonna go through that as well. Okay, so for the physical sky, you click here, physical sky, click on the physical sky, time and location, hit July, and that's it. And then I'm gonna start the render, and you will see it really fast. So as you can see, the render is done, and it looks pretty cool compared to the other one. They've done a little color correction, I think, or something like that. I don't know, but if you do the color correction on the previous method of the render, it doesn't look too bad. So have a go at that previous render and not the physical sky first. So now let's load in the file. So double click there, or you can just click and drag it inside desktop. So I have it saved here. No, test 2. So now it'll give me the option of using the alpha channel, which I ticked. So I'm going to show you what the alpha channel is basically. So drag this in. And now you can see the sky is completely black. And that if I create a new layer, you can see it's just alpha out. So like a white layer, and let's just move it up there. And if I drag this here, so this white layer it replaces the sky. So you can basically create a different sky in After Effects or in Photoshop and use that. So now let's load in just a normal file without the alpha, and like so ignore. Okay, so now we can start adding the depth of field and fog just to add some cool effects. So let's increase the radius first to 2 and the focal plane to like 500 and the bias to whatever. And now you can see it's slightly blurred, and once we move around the focal plane here, you can see where the focal plane is, which is really cool. So you can always increase the thickness by just increasing that, and as you can see, it gets wider and wider. Focal plane, and yeah, let's focus it somewhere here, like so. And just increase the thickness, and yeah, that's pretty good. Now let's add some fog. So all I have to do is drag it there, and let's just decrease the end, like so. Okay, and now let's just select that tool, and then select there, and increase the scatter density, and reduce the opacity to like 10 or something. I don't know, not too much fog. Okay. So now if we see without the fog and with the fog, you can always add it, you can always remove it, whatever. Oh yeah, and for the depth of field, you can see this black thing there. So just increase the thing like that, just slightly. It doesn't reduce the quality at all, so just don't worry about it. Okay, now let's do the curves. So type in curves here. Curves, drag it on there. And let's just mess around with it. And yeah, that's looking good. Add some redness to it. I like to have slightly reddish look to it, so let's get that and move the green up as well. Oh, that's a little too red, isn't it? And the blue, not much. Okay, now let's get the contrast. It's a little too red for me. Let me just reduce the redness. Okay, and then we'll just move this a little like that. Okay. Contrast. I increased the contrast quite a bit since it just sets it better mood, I guess. I mean, it depends on your animation, what type of mood you're looking for. So brightness at like, I don't know, brightness not much. Hue and saturation, I reduced the saturation quite a bit. Like so. And yeah, so now let's get those black bars. Okay, I forgot one thing. We need to create a adjustment layer, and I forgot we need to add the color correction to this adjustment layer, because since we will be working with a lot of clips, so select allow clips, the adjustment layer. It basically adds all the color correction to all the clips in the composition, like so. Like say you have 5 clips, all of them will have the color correction in the adjustment layer. You probably know this, but I need you to, yeah, no, always, okay. Copy the ones we missed out, I forgot to add, and paste it into the adjustment layer like so, and we can then delete this on the test. Okay, so now let's get the bars. So layer, new, solid, black, 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 black. Okay, and oh yeah, make it what I have it set at was layer, new, solid. Yeah, the solid was at 800 pixels because that is what the movies or whatever, that's what they use, 920 by 800. And then we want to create another one by the normal size, so two of them, and then let's just off the previous one we made. So it's just basically one black thing like so. And then we want to select CC, type in CC jaws, like so. Grab it onto that black thing, and then we want to just completion, just set it at like 50, and then the height to 0. And now we can enable that other black solid we made, which was by 800, and select the other one, and we can completion just position it on top of it. So normally it's at 673. It doesn't have to be perfect, no one will notice the difference. So yeah, so that's how it will look. And I forgot to mention, make sure black solids are on top of the adjustment layer like so, and then make sure you and then say you want motion blur. I suggest use CC pixel. Oh no, you just type in pixel motion blur, and there it is. Grab it onto adjustment layer, and then you have motion blur. So yeah, that's just something else. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is this really new cool thing called Cineware. So what you can do is you can drag in a Cinema 4D file into After Effects, and as you can see, I have a Cinema 4D file. You can actually animate it and then have a RAM preview, but I didn't put animation. But anyway, as you can see, it says Cineware. I'm gonna go through all of this stuff later. I still haven't learned about it, but I know some bits of it, like you can render it out in Alpha Channel. Whatever. It's still not perfect. Like say, it can't load any textures from lib4d folders and stuff, so you need to have the textures on your computers for After Effects to recognize the textures. Otherwise, other than that, you can even create a new camera, and okay, select the camera. Oh, we need to go into Cineware, Effects, Cineware, and Cinema 4D, Center Comp Cam. And now we hit C to move. I'm not used to this, but it's really cool. Let me actually reduce the quality here, like so, and the textures, so we can get a pretty good, I don't know. Well, you can even move in 3D space, so it's really, really cool, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go through this stuff later. I suggest go checking out Grayscale Gorilla's tutorials on this. It's the one I watched for how to get this stuff working. And yeah, it comes with R13 or something. I have no idea. You have to check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.